and were able to pull off today's events. When I say it's truly a student-led event, Nick Wolf's business, So Fresh, So Clean, is actually sponsoring the therapy dogs and the mini horses. This truly is a student-led event. We hope you enjoy the events of today. I'm going to ask Betsy and Colby and Susan and Abby come up and speak for a minute to get us started with the events. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, Laser Nation. First off, I can't believe this is real, like actually. Some of you may have heard of this event, some of you may not, and that's why we're going to explain what's going on. My name is Sade Masker, and the people standing next to me are part of the Laser Speak Up board.
Hello everyone, I'm Colby Ramshaw.
I'm Abby Whitley.
Hi, I'm Susan Kim.
Lancer Speak Up started off as a far idea in Kath's English class. It turned into a conversation in Mrs. Daly's math lab, where it blossomed into a meeting with the SEL committee and Mr. Perry. The product of all this is here before you today. The idea behind Lancer Speak Up is to showcase the mental health resources of LHS as well as outside resources. How many of you guys have ever felt stressed before maybe a presentation or a big math test? If you haven't, I truly envy you. Everyone has felt stressed or anxious at some point in their life. If you haven't, well, still have fun today. However, managing these emotions is a life skill that must be learned. Lancer Nation is here to help teach you ways to manage your mental health in a safe manner. There are people here who care about you guys. The clubs and organizations here each have something to do with mental health, and you will get to a chance to explore that today. After concluding this quick intro, you will get the chance to listen to speaker Scarlett Lewis from the Choose Love Foundation. Choose Love is helping hundreds of schools integrate a more active approach to mental health. After Ms. Lewis speaks, freshmen and sophomores will stay in the gym, and juniors and seniors will get to go outside. Seniors will go to the track field, and juniors will go to the soccer club. Throughout this event, you will stay with your grade. Teachers are here to help guide you, so if you have a question where to go next, just ask the staff member. If at any point you feel the need to break away from today, feel free to visit room 616 where there will be guidance to help you. Overall, if there's one thing I want you all to take away from this, it's to not be silent. Mental health is almost like a taboo in our culture, but mental health isn't bad or good. It's just something that's part of us. The more of us that start the conversation, the better we can help each other. So together, let's silence the stigma. But before we do that, I'd like to hold a moment of silence for the lives lost in Texas yesterday. Thank you. And now, we'd like to present Ms. Scarlett Lewis.
Because we are so grateful that you are here today with us, we wanted to give you a little piece of Lancer Nation to take with you after today. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning! And this is amazing. This is a student-led event. You all did this, so give yourselves a round of applause.
You guys are being part of this mission today. This is amazing. I'm so honored to be here. This is so significant. And I will make this pledge to you. What I'm about to tell you is going to change your life forever. For the better. And if it doesn't, you can take it up with me afterwards. I'm going to be talking to you about how to face pain, how to learn from it, grow through it, and be strengthened by it. It's something that we all have, and you all as a community have had a lot of pain over the last few years. We've had loss as a community, and then individually, each one of you is going through something right now. The person to your left, the person to your right. We're human beings. This is how we grow. Being outside of our comfort zones. You know how I know this? Because I am the mom of a Sandy Hook shooting victim. Sandy Hook was an elementary school, and 10 years ago, there was a school shooting eerily similar to what happened yesterday in Texas, where 20 first graders were murdered in 2 first grade classrooms and 6 educators. That was one of the worst mass murders in U.S. history. This is my son, Jesse. Jesse was 6 years old and in first grade. Jesse had an older brother, JT. I was a single mom. We live on a little farm. He rode horses. He was always joyful, always having fun. And losing him, I didn't know if I would survive. But here I am, 10 years later, sharing this moment with you, and I'm so grateful. I have learned so much. I just told you that we learn from pain. Can you imagine what I have learned over the past 10 years? I'm going to give you that today so that you too can grow through pain and difficulty, challenges, roadblocks, anything that you face in life. Jesse showed tremendous courage that day. When the shooter came into his classroom, Jesse yelled for his friends to run. And he was able and credited with saving 9 of his first grade classmates' lives before losing his own. That's courage. That is courage. And here's the thing, and this is why I talk about that courage. We all have the capacity for that courage within us. Every single one of us. Research tells us that courage is like a muscle. We have to practice it to grow it. And we use courage every day. Sometimes we don't realize it. It's the courage to be present right now, to listen with an open heart and an open mind, to hear what I'm saying. It's a difficult subject. It takes courage to be present. It takes courage to do the right thing instead of what's easy, to tell the truth. Sometimes it takes courage to be kind when someone's not being kind to you. That is courage. Courage is sitting with your pain. It's reaching out and asking someone for help. That is courage. We all have the capacity for that courage. We're going to work today on strengthening our courage muscle. I know I had to. I thought about the tremendous courage that my 6-year-old son showed when a shooter came into his classroom. He saved lives. I thought, if he could do that, then I can stand in front of 1,400 students and share with them what I've learned.
so that they can grow through difficulty and pain. That's what we're designed to do as human beings. Why do you think we have challenges and difficulty, roadblocks? It is to grow through them, and we're going to talk about how to do that. Here's the other thing that Jesse did shortly before he died. He wrote 3 words on our kitchen chalkboard before leaving. Those 3 words is hard to read. Here's a close-up. Nurturing, healing, love. This was a last message that he left for his family. You can tell that the words are phonetically spelled because, well, he was in first grade and just learning how to write because they're phonetically spelled. But the amazing, I couldn't believe it. I was stunned at this message. And I realized then and there that if the shooter had been able to give and receive nurturing, healing love, the tragedy would never have happened. It was shocking to me. It was so simple. It's love, connection, belonging. But we need a few skills and tools to do that, by the way, that we're not born with, that we have to learn. And we're going to talk about those skills and tools today. Nurturing, healing, love. Those 3 words, I had a doctoral professor did some research on them. They're in the definition of compassion across all cultures. And here's the thing that I learned about the Sandy Hook shooter, who was a recent graduate of Sandy Hook Elementary, of the Newtown school system, but had gone to Sandy Hook Elementary School. Eerily like what happened yesterday in Texas. It was the classic scenario. He had been bullied at school, consistently. He suffered from anxiety. He didn't get the professional help that he needed. He suffered alone. He felt shame. He was isolated. He was lonely. He had negative thoughts. They became anger, which became rage, and he didn't know how to handle that rage. He became suicidal, and then he became homicidal. Here's the bottom line. That's preventable. That's a lifetime of suffering that leads up to something like that. And here's something else. We need to take responsibility for this. We need to look for the person that's suffering. We know who they are. We know who's alone. We know who's angry. We know who needs help. We need to have the courage to show up, to provide comfort and compassion. Because if that had been done for the Sandy Hook school shooter, I wouldn't be here. Jesse would be here. Jesse would be turning 16. He would be getting his driver's license on June 30th. So what we realized when we looked at those 3 words was that it formed a powerful and profound formula for choosing love, for being able to face whatever pain you have in your life. Take your personal power back. Here's the bottom line. We can't always control what happens in our lives, right? Nobody would ever have chosen a global pandemic. If you guys are having issues, problems, pain, you wouldn't have chosen that. But here's the thing, we get our personal power back in how we choose to respond to that pain. This formula helps you do it. This formula you're going to leave today with as a skill and tool in your belt. You are always going to have it. You are always going to be able to use it. You're going to be able to share it with other people. This is a life changer. It's changed my life. I use it every day, all day long. So we're going to go through this. We're actually going to practice it later. Those bags that you're going to get, I guess you didn't get them yet, but you're going to. We're going to go through each one of these character values. And we're going to see how this can make us feel better and provide relief. Because here's the bottom line. You know, there's a lot of focus on how we're different, but as human beings, we're all the same in the want and need to love and be loved. All of us. Love is connection, belonging. We all have to have this. We all need to be validated, acknowledged. We need this. We're designed to look into each other's eyes for compassionate touch. That's how we flourish. Period. We all need to love and be loved. But here's the other thing, and this is the most important thing, is loving yourself. People who love themselves are not going to want to harm themselves, and they're not going to want to harm others. That's the bottom line. But there are two immutable forces. They're not political. You can't write op-eds on them. We all have them. The want and need to love and be loved, and we all feel pain. We all feel hurt. We all have gotten our feelings hurt. And you're not going to get out of life without it, and it's going to happen again, and again, and again, and again. And guess what? Literally, we're designed as human beings for that to be an opportunity for growth, to get stronger. And I'm going to show you how today. Because that feeling that you feel, that emotion, even if it's tough, it's energy. And energy moves around. It moves through you. The lowest of the low feeling is going to move through. So is the highest of the high. But it moves somewhere, and if it doesn't move out of you, it stays stuck. And it's painful. So let's do a little check-in, because you are going to feel better leaving here. Believe it or not, these are skills and tools that help you feel better. And I want to prove it to you. So I want you to check in. This is called self-awareness. It's probably the most important skill that you will ever learn. How do you feel right now? How are you feeling? So we use a ducky scale because Jesse loved little yellow ducks. He actually loved little soldiers too, ducks and soldiers. But we chose the duck for obvious reasons for schools as a logo. So check in. So number one is fully inflated. You feel fantastic, ready to tackle the world. And then you see 9 is like underwater. How are you guys feeling today? Can you guys show me with a show of hands how you're feeling? Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? Yeah, be honest about it. Okay? Can you show me? Got it. Thank you. Can you guys show me? Thank you. Okay. All right. I just want to get a check-in of where everybody is. I got you back there. Thank you. Thank you. Got it? Wow. Okay. I like that. Excellent. All right. All right. We're going to do it again at the end of the day, and you're going to see that these skills and tools provide you relief. You're going to feel better. I have a little 4-minute introductory video that I want to show you, and then I'll get back up. Thank you. Okay, that wasn't working. You got to see a little video of Jesse though, kicking the soccer ball. It's just a little bit more about his bravery. He was given a commander-in-chief funeral, by the way. A commander-in-chief funeral with first responders lining the roads. He got a cavalcade before and after the hearse. That's reserved for heads of state and returning war heroes. Jesse was considered a war hero because his first grade classroom was a literal war zone. And here's the bottom line. This is a quote by Nelson Mandela that I love to share. People have to learn to hate. You may know somebody that hates. They were taught that. Because babies aren't born hating. They learn that. And if you can learn to hate, you can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Here's a pretty interesting fact too. Hate feels bad. It may feel temporarily like energy, like adrenaline, but hate ultimately makes you hate yourself, and as well as others. Love feels good. Love is powerful. So I say this whole Choose Love movement started at Jesse's funeral when I got up to speak. And I said, this whole tragedy started, you can see how I took a different view of this, right? Because everybody was saying, gun control, we have to do gun control. It was either gun control or the opposite. And I thought, wow, that didn't work. And 10 years later, we have more guns on the street than ever before in the history of mankind, and more violence. So I decided to look at the root cause. What caused that? What caused that yesterday? And what caused the same thing 10 years ago? Well, I got up in front of the congregation, Jesse's little casket right here, and I said, it was an angry thought in the shooter's head that caused this entire tragedy. I pictured him as a little boy having an angry thought without the social and emotional competence, the coping mechanisms, the skills and tools, nurturing environment to deal with that thought. That one thought escalated into the anger and rage that it took to perpetrate that crime. And the same thing happened yesterday. It happens every day. Here's the bottom line. A thought can be changed. A thought can be changed. We're going to talk about your thoughts. We're going to talk a little bit about neuroscience today. So I asked everybody that day, real simple, just start thinking about what you think about, because I know everybody wants to do something. And I want you to change one angry thought into a loving thought every day. It'll make you feel better. Love feels good, hate feels bad, and that will reflect how you show up in your relationships and your behavior. Behavior is an example of how someone's feeling. If they are unkind, if they're a bully, they don't feel good about themselves. So here's the amazing thing. Everybody goes out to the four corners of the United States and they start calling me, emailing me, texting me, saying that one simple act had completely changed their lives. And I couldn't believe it. I realized I was onto something. That's the crux of what we're talking about today. This is simple stuff, you all. This is Charles Darwin, famous evolutionist. If I said survival of the, what would you say? Fittest. Everybody knows that, right? Well, guess what? What if I told you that Charles Darwin's research actually concluded something completely opposite? Charles Darwin's research concluded that it would be survival of the most sympathetic. And by sympathetic, he meant altruistic, generous, and compassionate. Survival I'm talking about here. So if you want to survive to pass down your genes and thrive, it's going to take kindness, caring, and compassion. Wow. That's incredible, isn't it? I know that's how I got here. This is Liberty, the Choose Love Comfort Dog. She always steals the show. You all are going to be able to meet Liberty later. So, anybody interested in the secret to happiness? Sounds good, right? So, Harvard University did the longest ever study on human life. And they're literally 85 years into it now. But they found the secret to happiness. And it is healthy relationships, meaningful connections. Here's the kicker. We are not born with those skills and tools. We have to learn them. And that's what I'm talking about today with Choose Love. Really important that we learn these skills and tools. And by the way, whoever said happiness was hard work? Did you ever hear that before? I felt kind of like I'm born. I deserve to be formula. The formula can help you get this way. And we're going to go into it. You know, we're bombarded now. Who doesn't have a cell phone? Really? Okay. All right. For the first time ever, by the way, really? He's on his cell phone, so he definitely has one. For the first time ever, we have 24/7 information coming to us. We have front row seats to the worst of humanity. The things that you see on your cell phone, you can't unsee. And by the way, you're anxious, but you also might be getting traumatized by what you're seeing on your cell phone. There's too much information. Our brains are not designed for all of this information. I'm not saying get rid of cell phones. I'm saying that we have to be aware of it, and we have to start managing the information, because otherwise it creates anxiety. The opposite of anxiety, anybody have anxiety in here? Anybody ever feel some anxiety? Yeah. Almost everyone, okay, feels some anxiety, some a lot. The opposite of anxiety is positive action. Literally doing something positive. I'm going to give you what to do today to reduce your anxiety, and probably to even cure it. I want you to stay curious today, because there is hope. I'm telling you. I've been doing interviews all last night. I'm here in the Choose Love bus. I want you all to check it out. I was literally pulling over on the side of the road doing interviews last night, and I said, I have hope. I was talking about the shooting in the Texas elementary school yesterday. I have hope. And you guys have given me a ton of hope today. This is an incredible, incredible event. So check out the brain scan for those of you who are interested in neuroscience, the workings of the brain. The brain on the left is thinking frustrated, resentful, angry thoughts. And by the way, anger is okay. Anger is some of what motivated me to be here today, to do what I'm doing, because every school shooting is preventable. We've got to keep you guys safe, and educators. Anger's okay, but prolonged anger is what is the problem. The brain on the left is thinking resentful, frustrated, hateful thoughts. The brain on the right is thinking loving, caring, compassionate thoughts. Check out the prefrontal cortex. This is where logic and reasoning reside. This is where you want to be operating from on a daily basis. Guess what gets you there? Choosing love. And by the way, it's a choice. What we think impacts how we feel, which impacts how we behave and how we show up in relationships. And a lot of this is a choice, you all. We can't always choose what happens to us, but we can always choose how we respond. And a lot of what I'm talking about today is personal power and control in our lives. Because when you don't feel like you have control over your life, over yourself, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, and it makes you angry. This is literally called locus of control, the location of your control. Think about this for a minute. Where is it for you? Because it does vacillate. When you feel like you don't have control, you say things like, things are happening to me. You blame other people for what's going on in your life. You finger point, you fault find. You feel victimized. You feel helpless. You feel hopeless. That leads to anger, which can lead to rage. I'm talking about a thoughtful response. Using the formula that we're going to work on today, that can bring that locus of control back inside you. It is designed to do that, where you have control. You make things happen. You have hope. You can offer hope to others. You are strong. You're capable. This is really important stuff. One of the concepts is, the glass. Looking at a glass. Is it half empty or half full? Are you a pessimist or an optimist? If something's going on in your life, are you able to compartmentalize it? I remember when my parents were getting a divorce, and I was 17, and I thought my world was ending. I started having panic attacks. I was diagnosed with situational depression. I was sleeping all the time and crying. I thought my world was ending. That's a pessimistic view. That there's not much to look forward to if that's the case. But in reality, we don't have a rear view mirror, but in reality, that event made me stronger. That event had some benefits. I had 2 houses, I had 2 Christmases, and my parents eventually went on to find great people, and I had more people, more family in my life. But it wasn't my whole life then, and I didn't realize it. Simple skills and tools can help you gain hope. Hope is the belief that your future can be better and brighter, and that you can play a role in this. The formula helps you do that, for sure. Because our personal power as human beings is in our choices. This is for everyone. As human beings, our personal power are in the choices that we make every day. We may not realize their choices. Every single time we interact with another human being, we choose how to treat them. Every time. Every single time it's a choice. Wow! We have the power. We choose if we're going to treat them well, or if we're going to treat them badly. It's just a choice. And that's why I named the whole movement Choose Love, because we can choose where our focus is. How important is where our focus is? Well, let's talk race cars for a moment. Mario Andretti, the most famous race car driver ever. He's won more races, so many more races than any other race car driver. It's ridiculous. So he's being interviewed one day, and the interviewer goes, "How come you're so good? How come you have had so many more wins than any other race car driver in the history of this sport?" And Mario says, "I never look at the wall. I never look at the wall." And the interviewer's like, "What are you talking about? You never look at the wall?" Well, he says, "I have to focus on where I'm going. If for one split second, out of fear, I glance at the wall, that's exactly where my car is going to go, and I'm going to crash." That's what we have to do. We have to focus on what we want, where we're going. What kind of life do you want to lead? It's your choice. Right now, today, make the choice going forward. Here's only just a little small problem with that. Sounds easy, right? Except we all have a negative bias. We all focus on the negative. We all have tens of thousands of thoughts that go through our head every day. The majority of your thoughts are negative. And by the way, over 95% are repetitive. Those negative thoughts over and over and over again. It's not just you, it's the way that you're wired. Let's go back to caveman times. It's the caveman that was focusing on his saber-toothed tiger. That was the caveman that was going to live to pass down his genes. Well, guess what? No saber-toothed tigers, but we do have negativity. That's what our brains automatically go to. It's okay. Your brains just want to keep you safe. That's why it's doing it. That's why those negative thoughts, that's why you have that negative narrative, maybe even about yourself. Do you ever think, "I'm so stupid. God, everybody else can do that and I can't? Why does it take me so long to do things? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy." Well, by the way, that feeling continues on into adulthood unless you deal with it right now, today, and we're going to do that. So we know that our brains, this is neuroscience, are like glue to negative thoughts and like Velcro to positive thoughts. We also see this in PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We've all heard of it, but there's also something called post-traumatic growth. Remember in the beginning I said we are designed to grow through difficulty? We are designed to grow through difficulty. It's called post-traumatic growth. Anything that you go through in your entire life, anything you've ever gone through, anything that you ever will, is an opportunity for growth. Literally, you don't have a rear view mirror, you can't see how, but it's called post-traumatic growth. You can go Google it. It helps you to grow, to become stronger. Here's a social scientist quote. Listen to this. Even in circumstances of great suffering, human beings have a natural capacity to find hope, exert choice, and make meaning. This is why in our own lives, the most common effects of stress include strength, growth, and resilience. Wow, this is true for every single one of you in this room. I love the way the Japanese talk about this. They have an art form for those of you who are artsy and creative out there like I am. It's called kintsugi. So the Japanese a lot of times eat out of pottery bowls. And sometimes these bowls break. What the Japanese do is they pick up all the pieces and they fix the bowl with golden joinery. And then this fixed bowl, they believe, is more valuable than the bowl before it was broken. This is just like our hearts. Our hearts get shattered, don't they? Broken. We drop to our knees in despair. We pick up all these pieces and we piece them together. Guess what though? The heart is stronger after that. It's like a scar. You have a scar on your body, that scar is stronger than the skin around it. It makes you stronger. Let's talk really quick about stress. Anybody stressed out? Yeah. Well, let me just tell you something really quick about stress that will change your life and change the way you look at stress going forward. There are two types of stress. We just say, oh, I'm so stressed out. But guess what? We need stress to become resilient. There's actually a good kind of stress. It's called eustress. It's a challenge stress. It's the stress that gets us up in the morning, that makes us want to get a good grade on the test, that helps us get up in front of people and share a message. It's a stress that relates to a need. It is good stress. But then there's distress. There is distress, where it's overwhelming, unpredictable, uncontrollable. But the majority of stress that we have in our day is actually eustress. It's a good stress. So when you feel stressed, when you feel overwhelmed, stop for a moment, do that self-awareness check-in, and say, what is my stress that I'm dealing with right now? Is it a threat to me? Is it a threat to my personal safety? Or is it a challenge that I rise to? This is a big deal. This is a big deal. I remind people on my team about this. When they come to me, I'm overwhelmed, I can't handle this. I say, hold on, wait. You're so stressed out. What kind of stress is it? Well, it's this, and this. That's a challenge. That's a challenge stress. That's a I rise to the occasion stress. It's a challenge or a threat. Which one is it? Think about it as you move forward. Is it going to make you stronger or is it going to take you down? Really important, because if it doesn't challenge you in life, it doesn't change you. If you're not outside your comfort zone, you're not growing. That is where we're designed to be. We can go into our comfort zones for rest, but if you're outside your comfort zone right now and feeling stressed, think about why. Think about if it's a challenge, and think about the fact that you have the ability to rise to the occasion. Because no matter how big your challenges seem, you've got what it takes to face it. You know how I know that? Because you're sitting in your seats right now. I know that because I'm standing in front of you. You absolutely have what it takes. All right, have you guys heard of IKEA, the furniture store? Okay. You know what I just thought of? I thought I need a big donation from IKEA because I talk about this experiment that they did. This is really cool. All right. They did this experiment in a middle school, and they took 2 corn plants. They put them in a controlled environment, so they both had the same environment. And then they put one corn plant on one side of a hallway in a middle school, and they put another corn plant on the other side of the hallway. Then they told the students in between classes, as you're walking by these corn plants, we want you to bully this one corn plant. So it's kind of interesting. You can actually look up this video online. You see the kids standing in front of this corn plant going, I hate you, corn plant. You're so stupid. You're ugly. You're a disgusting color of green. No one wants you here. You're dumb. And then, when they passed the other corn plant, they were supposed to love on this corn plant. So you see the kids going, stay with me here. You see the kids going, I love you, corn plant. You're so beautiful. You're a beautiful color of green. We want you here. You create oxygen. We need you. Okay, this went on for 6 weeks. These kids were just walking by. They couldn't touch the corn plant. They were in controlled environments. They were just talking to these corn plants. They were sending intention into these corn plants. So then IKEA, 6 weeks later, moved these plants together to show the kids the difference. Check this out. This is an actual experiment. The corn plant on the left was bullied. Do you see what's happening? It's dying. It's dying. The corn plant on the right was sent love. See what's happening to that corn plant? It's twice the size. Wow. Your thoughts that create your words, that then impact your actions and how you show up each day, they matter. And they matter to each other. And every single one of you in here has a choice on how you treat people. And let me tell you something, it takes a tremendous amount of courage to even approach someone that you don't know. You're putting yourself out there. But everyone in here, I would challenge to identify someone that you know needs a friend. Everyone knows that person. Find the courage within you to be kind. And here's the other thing. Courage is not just doing something, right? We have to start thinking about what we're not doing. When we see a need and we don't meet it. That is just as bad as treating somebody unkindly. When we see a need and we don't do it. Help each other. Listen, active listening to what each other says. Think about what you think about, and then start thinking about what you say. You're going to be amazed at what you say every day when you're just walking around. So stupid. Hate myself. That just makes me sick. Just shoot me. I could kill myself. Start thinking about what you say, and then start listening to what other people say. Let's help each other, because our words matter. Every single thought we have actually impacts every cell in our body. Every thought is impacting every cell. Every thought you have is leading you to languishing or flourishing. Every thought, every word. Help each other. Listen. Compassionately say, hey, it's not making you sick. It's making you healthier and stronger. Let's help each other. Okay, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And it matters. It matters what the person next to you is feeling. It matters what they're thinking. And bottom line, when we choose love, it makes us feel good. So in the next phase is us practicing the formula, each character value in the formula for choosing love.
Hi guys, thank you Scarlett.
Is she not incredible or what? Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. I'm the program director of
Choose Love for the state of New Hampshire. I come to you from the governor's office, and I just want to say, just as awesome as Scarlett is, so are you all. The fact that this was student-driven and student-led, we are so proud of you. You give us hope. Thank you. Can we show Scarlett love back for everything she just shared? And let's do a Choose Love wave around the gym. Can you do a wave around the gym with your hand up in the air? Get this All right, let's do it again. Ready? Go! Thank you, everybody. Okay, so now freshmen and sophomores team. Okay, and then we're gonna see the rest of you after that. Yes. Thank you. So